Sunset falling on the news so slow, where the train winds home and the stories flow. From Tryon Palace to the streets we roam. Yeah, this place ain't just a town, it's home. Yeah. This is a golden hour, where the light hits right, where New Bern shines in that coastal light. Every voice, every story, every dream out loud. Yeah, we're lifting up this city proud. This is a golden hour. Well, it ain't golden. Yeah. Sunset falling on the news so slow, where the tram winds home and the stories flow. From Tryon Palace to the streets we roam. Yeah, this place ain't just a town, it's home. Yeah, this is a golden hour. Ooh, I am. Ooh, I am. Ooh, I am. This is the golden hour. Yeah.
Hello, New Bern, and welcome to the Golden Hour. I hope you guys are doing well. We're going to have an amazing show today, and I'm super excited to introduce our guests. But first, we're going to look at some real estate first. Still have the same listing this week. It's 443 Peregrine Ridge for $359,900. It is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, new construction. Just outside of New Bern. It's centrally located. You can get to Cherry Point easily with the new bypass and stuff. You can get to the beach super quick. And then about 15 minutes outside of New Bern. This one does also have a bonus room included. So that's something that's pretty rare in these new constructions in this neighborhood. It's time for me to introduce our guest today. I'm so excited about this because he's got a couple of companies that I honestly didn't realize that he was a part of until recently. So please let me introduce you to Mr. Patrick Riddick. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you can join us. So Patrick is the owner of Carpet One, which is now very recently, our new neighbor next door to Union Point Church. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But he's also one of the owners for Solas Lighting, and we will be discussing that as well. I want to make sure everybody, if anybody can't hear us, please let me know in the comments. I'm getting weird messages, so I want to make sure it's working. But first, let's just start. Patrick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on the show. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about not only myself, but about the companies and what I do here in New Bern. So thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm an East North Carolina guy. I've born and raised in Little Washington, and went off to school in the middle part of the state. And when I had a chance to come back, we moved to New Bern. So we got back here in 2008.
Okay.
I was in the flooring industry, have been for a long time now. And when I got moved back down here, I was doing flooring, but I hadn't yet purchased Carpet One. Carpet One was my first foray into entrepreneurship, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit. And I bought that company in 2014.
Okay.
And then later opened up Solas and raised my family here in New Bern. I've got my beautiful wife and my son and my daughter. My son is a rising junior at Elon University in the middle part of the state, and my daughter just recently graduated from high school.
Okay.
And from New Bern High School. So we kind of raised the kids here in town. We've been here for New Bern. We actually like to say Emerson, my daughter, she's a New Bern local. She was born here in New Bern. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, that's kind of what we're doing.
Oh, I love that so much. Where's Elon? Is that what you said? Elon University?
Yeah, so my wife and I actually both went to Elon. It's a private school in the middle part of the state, so it's just outside of Burlington, North Carolina. So if you're heading up 40 as you're going out towards Greensboro, it's about an hour on the other side of Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful campus. If you don't know about it, look it up. It's gorgeous, and we've had such a good experience with Ethan being there. He's doing well. So.
That is awesome. I love that so much. Okay, so we're going to start with Carpet One. So tell us a little bit more about that story. You said it was 2014. Is that when you said you?
14. Yeah. So the Carpet One story is a little bit bigger than even just me. Carpet One, for folks that don't know, is a national cooperative. So it's a co-op. It's got national brand recognition. There's over 1,000 Carpet One stores across the country. I own the store in New Bern, just like all the other independent owners, but we're part of this cooperative that works collectively together. So our buying power is really good. The way our stores look, there's some very very much some similarities. However, it's not a franchise. So a franchise and a co-op are very different in terms of business and how they operate. So the co-op is very supportive, but we're allowed to think and act and do on our own as well. So we're not dictated to, but coming alongside the co-op is a very smart move, especially from a national brand recognition standpoint. So Carpet One started as a national brand in 1985. And it started with a group of dealers who wanted to create something that was a little bit bigger than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so they met together and said, "Hey, what if we bought together and we could improve the way we purchase, we could improve our freight, our deliveries, how things are done." I would say in 1985, there was still an awful lot of carpet and linoleum or sheet vinyl being sold. It has grown, as you can imagine, massively as an industry. And what they did was back in '85 had an enormous amount of forward thinking. And the following, I want to say they met prior to '85. So it was '85 in Atlanta that they pitched it to 12 additional dealers, and all 12 of them signed up to be a part of that buying group. And then it has grown ever since to include over like I said, over 1,000 stores nationwide. We have some in a few other countries as well.
Hmm.
And the guys who started Carpet One are leading experts in the country on developing co-ops.
Hmm.
And one of the other big co-ops you might know in town is Ace Hardware.
Mm.
They are not a franchise. They are, in fact, a co-op, and Carpet One and Ace Hardware both support each other on a national level, meaning that someone from our board of directors always sits on their board, and someone on their board always sits on ours, because they believe in the format that's a co-op versus a franchise. So from there, understanding that, we'll tell you a little bit about why I was interested in the store. The store did exist in New Bern. A previous owner had brought the location from Greenville over to New Bern, and it goes back as far as 2007 or eight, being in New Bern. So we've been around as a store in town for a long time. We've changed a couple locations, and as you said, I'm on Trent Road now. We just finished this building, and we're so happy and so blessed that to get to be over here in our on our own place. But so in I was already in the flooring industry. I was a sales rep. I was moved back to New Bern to call on the retail stores. I had my territory was east of 95
Hmm.
and from state line to state line. So Virginia down to South Carolina, I covered a pretty big territory
Oh, wow.
selling flooring to retailers. And when the opportunity presented itself for me to buy this business in, it actually started a couple of years prior to 2014. It took us a little while to get to it,
Hmm.
um, and and so yeah, in 2014, I finally got the initial purchase into the business, and then by 2000, the end of 15, I think it was, or maybe first of 16, we I was the sole owner of Carpet One. So
Well, that is awesome. Did you ever think that that would be what you were going to be doing?
great. So no, I think sales is very natural to me. I really enjoy being around people. I like working with people.
Hmm.
I like the process. I like delivering something that people need and want,
Hmm.
and that's something that I enjoy. I think I always, looking back now, as I'm sitting here talking to you, looking back now, yes, I think I always sort of was attracted to or drawn to owning my own business. I didn't know how I was going to do that.
Right.
And sometimes I look back now and still don't know how I did it. It just, you know, um, taking some risks, prayerfully considering moves, and just and getting a little bit lucky. It just all kind of worked out. So looking back, yes, I wanted to be in this situation. I didn't know how I was going to get there, and
Hmm.
it's kind of fun to look on now and go, oh, we kind of made it work. And then to open another, to open Solas, which we'll talk about later, but from the ground up, uh, that's been a labor of love, and that was something that was really important. Like really, I really wanted to do that, and that's been hard, but it's
Yeah.
been very rewarding as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about that too. So, what would you say from a consumer standpoint make blip, blip, I can say this from a consumer
Yeah.
standpoint, what makes Carpet One different from the big box stores around?
I love this question. We talk about it a lot in our industry. We talk about it a lot with customers. I think it's for you know the easiest thing for me to say is our company is designed from inspiration to installation. So you think it up, and I'll carry you. We'll get you through the process
Hmm.
to getting it installed, and usually uh, it's done in less time, with a lot less stress, and we're designed. Our team is designed here to take you through a flooring journey,
Hmm.
uh, and get you what you want. We don't do anything else here. I don't. We don't sell garden hoses and other things. Our sales staff is my design team and my operations team. They're all geared for flooring. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our big box competitors, you never really know who's going to be back there helping you. That guy,
Right.
that that person may have been working in lawn and garden last week, and now they've been moved to flooring. And flooring is a big purchase. A lot of times it's something that gets people excited, and they're really excited about it, and they want people to feel that excitement with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're here for. And so, from that standpoint, I think that that's one of the differentiating factors between us and big box. A lot of times, people think that we would just be inherently more expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not the case.
Right.
And I if people are upfront about what they're trying to do and being realistic about what their expectations are for
Mm-hmm.
products and a job, I, we can we come alongside them every day, and it's not an issue of something being more expensive or less expensive. Yes, a lot of times the big box store, you may be able to go pick something up right then and leave with it. But that's
Mm-hmm.
a whole nother, that's now become cash and carry. We do that as well. We encourage people to occasionally when they want to do their own project, let's do it. And matter of fact, we'll even help you with how that works. So it's a great question, and I think the biggest differentiating factor is just how well you'll be received here, and specifically for flooring, or in the other case, in the other store's
Yeah.
case for lighting, yeah, which is found in big box stores have both, so.
Yeah, for sure. So, what would you say? Well, first, I'm kind of curious. So, if somebody walks in and they have like a ridiculous idea, are you honest with them and being like,
Well, yeah, I mean,
this is a ridiculous idea? Or like in 20 years, you're going to wish you had never, next year, you're probably going to really wish you never did that. Do you give
I don't
design help?
I don't know. First of all, I don't think there's any ridiculous ideas. I mean, if you're
I'm
trying
going
to
to put
put
red shag carpet all over my
if
house
you're
today.
trying to put flooring outside in the grass, I mean that might be a ridiculous. That might be ridiculous. But I don't think anybody really comes in here with ridiculous ideas. And let me tell you this, to your point, if and I don't want this to sound in any other way than just what it means, but if you like it, I love it. If you want red shag carpet in your house, let me help you find red shag. I might not understand it,
Right.
or my design team might say, "Well, that's not what we expected," but
Thing.
the reality is, if that's what you're looking for, we'll meet you where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 try to help you get what you want. I don't think I've never heard anything that I thought was utterly ridiculous. I know what you're saying, and
Yeah.
sometimes we're like, well, let's bring this in, or let's talk about it,
Yeah.
and
Well,
there's
even down.
also,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, there's also practical, like not ridiculous, but
Hmm.
practical. Like, it's like, well, I see what you want to do, but that's not gonna work in your
That's what I was going
situation.
to ask. Yes.
Like solid hardwood over concrete.
Mm-hmm.
That's we there are ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's other options that are better, and we'll help you find engineered, and we'll talk about glue down versus that, like that. So that's not ridiculous. That's just like, is
Yeah.
it practical or not?
Yeah. That was going to be my next question. So if it's something that just absolutely wasn't the best interest of your client, like this is not going to be end well. And this is why. So just walking people through that. I love that. Instead of just, yep, I'll sell you whatever you want. And then you find out later, well, that's not good. I shouldn't have done that.
No, we want to be part of your process. We want to be educational. I want you to have a good experience when you're here. We want to educate our customers. That's something that is also a differentiating factor of local retail versus big box, in many places, not just flooring or lighting. But we want to be we a lot of us are industry professionals. This is what we do. This is
Mm-hmm.
I really am very genuinely excited about flooring. I've spent a lot of my time. I've even thought I would leave at times, and I just can't get away from it. It just draws me back. So yeah, we want to be educational, and we want to help people succeed. There are times when something, we do the best we can, and we're trying to really meet a customer where they're at,
Hmm.
and getting them to come over to what the industry says we should do versus what they want to do can be tricky sometimes, but
Hmm.
it for the most part we educate and put the ball back in your court and let you make a decision. But
Yeah, I love that. So what are some of the flooring trends that you're seeing more of right now?
ooh, yeah, uh, less gray,
Yay.
less really dark wood,
Okay.
less hand scraped. Do you remember hand scraped hardwood?
Yeah, kind of like what I would, let's see, how would I word it? Kind of like rustic almost. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying? Like kind of
exactly. Yeah,
more
more maybe a little bit more
gentle.
traditional and a little bit more modern these days. Less of that kind of distressed or things. Colder temperatures and stuff like that. Maybe uh, going away a little bit.
Kind of like
Yeah, I
light
mean,
oaks and stuff a little more.
what's
Still,
that?
I said kind of like a light oak almost color a little
Yeah,
more.
yeah, traditional things we're seeing tick back up. You you're familiar, I'm sure, with in real estate with luxury vinyl, laminate, hardwood tile, ceramic tile. So just in a broad, in a at 30,000 feet, just color wise, yeah, some of the grays are kind of going. They were real popular, real
Hmm.
popular. You were nodding your head like you understood
Yeah.
completely, and maybe when you're in houses, you just see it uh, over and over.
Mhm.
So some of that stuff's been done. Really, dark wood is hard to maintain.
Yeah.
So unless you're really equipped for for that, maybe find something with variation or something that's a little more subtle
Hmm.
to do.
Especially.
Species wise, it's still all over the map. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't say just light oak. I think species still play out pretty well. But maple, hickory, and that's as I say that I'm thinking about hardwood, but those species translate into the alternatives like laminate and luxury vinyl
Right.
planks because they're actually using high def imagery these days, to produce that. So
Yeah, I've seen
uh,
some gorgeous LVP that looks just like a hardwood. Um,
I'm a huge fan. I think that depending on what you choose or what you get, it is very tough to tell in some places these days, and that's encourage that's fun. That's fun.
mhm. Yeah, we redid our floors. Aaron did them for us. And I was really hoping we could do that type of flooring in it. And once we pulled up the 17 different types of floors in this old house, there
Yes.
was no way. And that's one of those things goes back to what you were saying. We had, this subfloor down here and the subfloor up here and this, nothing. He had to level it out and stuff. But he's like, there's so much imperfections on this. The LVP would just not be a great option. Um,
Yeah, I'm glad you brought. I mean, the remodel world,
mhm,
remodeling is one of the things that we obviously do a lot of here.
mhm,
I have several divisions. We have a commercial division, we have a builder division, then we have our retail staff, which really handles everything. But remodeling is a tricky thing because you're dealing with typically you're dealing with taking something up, and
mhm,
I would say 80% of the time it's pretty cut and dry. You're
mhm.
taking carpet out to put down a hard surface, or you're just replacing your carpet, or you're just replacing, some hard surface. We kind of, when we come for that initial measure
Mhm.
in that initial consult, we're taking notes about what your subfloor is. The one that's interesting is old houses, downtown houses, which I love,
Mhm.
but they can have years and years worth of going over top,
Mhm.
and sometimes you really have to dial that, like you have to dig in and see what you got, find the bones, if you
Mhm.
will, like
Yeah.
you really can't keep layering and layering. There is a point where the industry says you've got to find your way back to something that's going to be stable
Hmm.
and support what you want to do. And that might mean leveling. That might mean a tremendous amount of demolition. It sometimes can mean, hey, we got to find we need a contractor outside of the scope of work that I can do. We can handle an awful lot for you though, up until that that point. But so great. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think the remodel world is where people need a lot of times need the most help, right? Because you're like, what am I taking out? What does my subfloor look like? We're pretty in tune with that, so we're making those notes from the first time we talk to you. When we send, there's no cost or obligation for us at Carpet One to come and measure and give you some ideas.
Hmm.
You can come and get our samples and take them home with you. We don't charge for any of those things. So one more little running back to the differentiating factors of that and big box store. We want to be part of your project from start to finish, as opposed to just selling you material and getting you out the front door. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, Recently I did a home inspection on a house and we went into the kitchen and I tripped. I was like going into the kitchen and the buyer was like, well, I'm gonna break my neck on that. I was like, why is there such a transition into that kitchen? And they had like new LVP down or whatever. And when the home inspector got there, he pulled up one of the vents in the floor and there
yes,
was about this much
yes,
flooring on there, and it was like laminate lamp. You could tell it was like orange, then yellow, then the house was
yeah.
built in the 70s.
Uh,
Kind
sheet sheet vinyl was the one that everybody liked to stack on top of each other when it was popular.
of,
And typically, industry says 3 layers. You know what I mean? They'll let you do a couple until
yeah,
you start stacking them on, and then you got to talk about like some removal. The Yes, so I think that there's a couple of things that you said about when you walked in that house, and it's the same thing I look at all the time, and I can't, because I'm in the industry, I can't walk around and not look at floors either. I'm
mhm,
kind of guilty and bad about that. I
yeah,
will. My wife's always nudging me, and she's like, "Look up," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I just look at floors, you know." Um, but I noticed that one thing that we see a lot of is when you see height differences like that are fairly um, exaggerated or a lot. I like to. I'd want to pull a vent or look on. I'd want to know what was going on because occasionally things cannot be possibly were not installed properly, or maybe someone did it themselves and they weren't sure what the protocol was. So a lot of times when I see something that just looks way high, and then the other side of that is when they decided to do the project, it was the best case scenario at the time,
right, right,
and it might be installed right, but they've just maybe the budget didn't allow them to do a lot of prep work, and
mhm,
so it was like, hey, let's just go over top of this. More times than not, it's probably perfectly fine, just besides the trip hazard.
right,
And then sometimes it can be just installed improperly, and those are little things that I look for, maybe dead giveaways that something's up. If there's
mhm,
really different height things, just find out what it is. And a home inspection is so important for those kind of things. And that
yeah.
not that he can tell you everything, but he'll give you some idea of what's by looking on top, looking in vents, and then even looking under the house.
Yeah, for sure. So you've already mentioned, or actually, I want to go first. Tell us about your new building and your showroom and what consumers can expect when they come in. I went in the other day and was blown away. Like, I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but it was amazing. So
I
share with us.
I love that. And I'm going to tell you, this is fairly in depth, but I am two things. One, I always wanted to be on Trent Road. I don't know why. We were, if folks remember us, because we've been around for so long, we were really in the up just below the food line behind the McDonald's and Arby's on
Hmm.
off of MLK for years,
Hmm.
and we did a good business there. I just always sort of I was like, look, I've got to build my own thing. I need to plant some roots, and this building is a absolute blessing. I'm super just excited and lucky. I tried a few times to get some property. It never would kind of work out. And
Mhm,
so when it finally lined up, it all fell together. So
mhm.
I clearly it wasn't the right time, before. And so the building is right next to the movie theater and just down from the church. And this is kind of funny because this is the piece of property that Newbern parked on
Mhm.
when they went to the movies. Matter of fact, when I even got here in 08, 09, we'd go to the movie. And I would always park in this vacant lot. I don't know why. I never went in the actual parking lot of the movie theater. And so that's kind of fun. It's like a little Newbern. It was a Newbern hangout especially if you were going to the movies.
Mhm.
We have we built, I think the building is about 8,500 square feet. Our warehouse is attached here. What you can expect, I hope this is what you were talking about when you came in. It is it's so open. It's not, we have a very specific uh, marketing and retail plan through Carpet One, that it's not cluttered with flooring displays, and we've come from that. We know what that was like. For years, we had tons and tons of displays. It was so much to look at, so much to process, that it's this play. When I come in here, I just smile because it's open, it's airy. My people, our team is ready, is right there when you walk in. You don't have to look for them; they're not
Yeah.
hidden anywhere. They're out front. The first thing you're going to see is the North Carolina metal signs that are lit up from the back that Mickey Halbrick's team built over at Full Width Fabrication. And I love those guys. I love those signs, and they say Newbern Carpet One on them, and it's really designed to just welcome you in. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't that whole the way that we built the showroom around that selling system, around that Carpet One system, and we call it affectionately Retail 2.0.
Mhm.
And it was a process that we undertook as owners of Carpet One stores years ago to help the process, to help lower stress, lower anxiety, lower buyer's remorse by organizing our showroom in a way that is designed for the consumer to shop.
Mhm.
A lot of times, you tend to shop for flooring by color, not by materials or price or a lot of things. The first thing you want to look at when you come in is by color, and
Mhm.
our showroom is set up to meet you right where you're at for that. And we've done studies. Carpet One has done just an enormous amount of studies to get this right. And I'd love for you to come back over one day when we can walk around.
Mhm.
We're using technology. We have scanners. We have barcodes. You're able to compare products on a screen out front with our sales reps. You can our samples all have QR codes on them that you can scan using your own device, or if you want to use mine, if there's a scanner out there that'll allow you to see. First of all, you can see some pertinent information, but then you can dial in more about warranty and where best to use a product.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that you can do just to sort of have fun with the process. And we really are trying to. Carpet One nationally has put their best foot forward to help consumers pick a great product that's right fit for them,
Mhm.
and not um, overwhelm them with tons of displays.
Mhm.
We've done all the hard work, and all the major brands are here. They're just they're strategically placed in our selling system. So the showroom, just every day I walk in, I smile, and I'm just very thankful for not only Newbern supporting us to get to this point, but for the hard work of my team
Mhm.
and what everybody's done here to kind of allow us to be in this great space. So
I
appreciate you
love that.
asking about that.
Yeah, no, it's it. It's exactly that. You walk in, it's not overwhelming, but it's enough that makes you want to go, ooh, I want to go look at everything.
Yeah, there's definitely there's more here than people know, and interestingly enough about that, we come from a showroom that was just overwhelmed with displays and a lot, and that's how your traditional flooring stores were,
Hmm.
and even my staff and myself, we got used to operating in that environment. But we would see the look on people's faces, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's no way I can see everything. How am I going to make the right choice?" And I mean, that's why you come to us. We're going to help. We're going to listen to you and help you, get your project off the ground. We're going to listen first, and
Hmm.
then we'll start going out into the showroom. But the way that so moving from that to retail 2.0, it almost scared us a little bit. Like, do we have enough to show? And are people going to think that we don't have enough stuff? And everyone, it took us a little bit of time, a couple of weeks, 3, 4, 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, this is so much better. And I'll tell you, people, we have the best repeat customers. A lot of people will do multiple projects with us. We get to know them by their first name. We're excited when they come in. They're like, oh, you're back for another room,
Hmm.
whatever, especially on the retail side. And to see their reaction from, say, a few years ago to now, they just love it, and it makes me happy, and I'm not out there all the time on the floor right now, but I just love when people, like you said, you were like, when you walked in, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this, I don't know what I was expecting, but this is nice,
Hmm.
and it makes me want to walk up, walk over
Hmm.
and interact with the samples and with our people. So
That's
very
awesome.
cool.
Well, you already mentioned before we switch gears a little bit, but you did mention that you guys will go out and assess for free whatever project you're looking at, which is awesome. But I don't believe that many people know that there are payment options and financing options that you guys offer. That's really amazing. So why don't you share some of that with us real quick? What do you have available for people who are interested but don't think they have the
Absolutely.
funds?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of Carpet One being a national co-op puts me in a great position to help folks from a financing standpoint. Every day in here, there's 12 months zero interest, and it's a real uh, program, no interest. I mean, don't again, I'm going to be full disclosure. I don't typically, I'm not a person that likes to sell financing unless I talk to you about it a lot.
Right.
I'm not here for the credit card companies, and I'm not here for the financing companies. But I do believe that if you can keep your money in the bank and enjoy that zero interest, you can oftentimes get more done than you originally you wanted to do. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge benefit to financing. But yeah, 12 months zero interest. It's a very real thing. It's easy to work. We use a national brand called Synchrony, and then different times of the year, Carpet One will promote on a national level and allow each of its individual members, like myself, to get involved. And we can occasionally take financing to 18 and even 24 and 36 months. Those oftentimes are not zero interest, but they're very low because Carpet One will buy down that rate a little bit, and that's during a national promotion or something like that. So I we keep up with those. But I love. I told we sort of adopted years and years ago to run with 12 months zero interest,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to work really well for a lot of people. They like it,
Yeah.
and they can add they might do a little bit more. They might do more of the project because they're getting some a little bit of breather on the time to pay it back. I just want them to work within the parameters of what they sign up for. If you pay it off in 12 months, you
Hmm.
won't pay any interest.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I think that's awesome. I've told many clients about it, especially
yeah,
when
we
we're
appreciate
selling
that.
and we need new carpet or something along those lines. Just being able to do that and like pay it off at closing kind of
We
thing.
love the real estate side as well. So thank you for saying that. Not only do we have the financing options, but we know that home ownership and someone buying a house for the first time, maybe, or maybe they bought several times, whatever, is a big deal. And flooring is one of those things that can make something your own fairly quick, fairly easy. Not always cheap, but it can be something that sort of takes a space and brings it around to what you're trying to what you're trying to do. So
Yeah. So then suddenly you decided I should open a lighting store. I got an idea.
it wasn't suddenly, but it was like, what else could we do?
I mean, great. So yeah, let's talk about Solas lighting. And I told him earlier, I feel like this is like New Bern's hidden gem. I know that some people know about it, but then I'll mention it to others and they're like, wait, what are you talking about? What is that? So tell us about Solas lighting, like what it is and how did it get
Yeah.
started?
Thank you. Yeah, I love that you and you said that prior to our call today, but that you thought of Solas as New Bern. I love that. Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely.
It makes me excited. Solas has been in town for 5 years,
Mhm.
and it is always a uh, it's always sort of so important to continue to drive that name out there. And so many people do know about it, and so many people need to know about it.
Mhm.
I get it, and we're trying different ways this year to do that. But Solus originated from a conversation that I had 10 years ago. It's been 10 years ago now because the store's actually been open for 5. But I had a conversation with Cassie Digby one day, and Cassie, and
Yeah.
she's a works here in town for Keller Williams now. But a lot of people don't know that Cassie and I worked together while she was studying for her real estate license and all of that stuff that she aspired to do. She actually worked at Carpet One,
Ah.
and she is an amazing. If you don't know this about Cassie, not only an amazing real estate agent, but she's an amazing designer, and
Mhm.
she really puts things together very well. So her working at Carpet One was a very natural
Mhm.
fit. I was super excited to have her because this was the early days of Carpet One. And we were trying to still turn this thing around, right the ship a little bit.
Mhm.
We were looking to grow here, and it was very funny because Cassie says one day to me, kind of out of the blue, she said, "You know what New Bern needs is a lighting store." And I
Mhm.
said, "Cassie," and she was saying it like you should open a lighting store. And I said, "I can right now. We have to sell flooring. we can't we can't think of something new to do. We've got to focus on flooring." And she's like, "Oh, I know, blah blah blah." And so it never left my mind that she
Mhm.
brought that up. And it took about 5 years. We did right the ship with Carpet One. We had. Um, I was very lucky, very blessed to hire good people who cared about the company the way that I did, wanted to see it succeed. We did well. And when things kind of loosened up a little bit, I went back to Cassie. By now, she's a real estate agent. And I said, "Hey, do you still want to do a lighting store?" And she was like, "Oh my God, yes." Well, ironically, it was 2019
Mhm.
when I brought that up. So, um, I said, "Well, I'm thinking about it now." And she said, "Oh my God, whatever you need." And so in 2020, I started the process of getting funded and sort of being like, you know what, I'm going to really think about doing this. And prior, so what people may not know either is Carpet One owns several other co-ops under our big umbrella, and one of them is called Lighting One. So there's a lateral entry that you can do in the business that would allow me not to understand the industry better or anything like that, but allow me to kind of to circumvent some things and get some advice. So I started in January of 2020. I started interviewing Carpet One stores who also own lighting stores. And
Okay.
I did a very due diligence practice of interviewing owners and key people to see if this is something that I could do. Everything, it checked all the boxes. And I thought, this is something that New Bern does need. This is something that we can do. And I approached Cassie and said, "Hey, if you're still interested in this, I'd love for you to be a partner
Mhm.
with me." And she accepted, and Cassie and I work on this together with our team over there, which I have
Mhm.
another awesome team over there that's design based as well. So what I was going to say though, in 2020, as you know, this was in January, and by March of that year, COVID was on very much on the horizon, and thankfully, I did not. For some reason, I had a bad feeling about. I didn't know what was gonna. I didn't know what was ultimately going to transpire, but I had a bad feeling, and I stopped, and I just put it on the back burner.
Mhm.
And it was almost like I didn't know it, but I was circling the wagons for what we would deal with in through 2020.
Mm.
Um, and if I'm being with full disclosure, COVID turned out to be a it was a very rough patch for us
Mm.
in the first and second quarter of that year, but it turned out to be an encouraging year because people, when they weren't able to travel or do, they opted to renovate
Mhm.
and to work on things that were close to home to them,
Yeah.
and maybe that they've been putting off for a while. So the COVID year was very scary going into it,
Sure.
but turned out to be a decent year in the flooring business, and it was largely because people just were we were stuck at home. We were looking around, and I want to say too that the state of North Carolina and the federal government did not want the construction industry to shut down entirely. They gave us some parameters to work within,
Mhm.
but if they had shut down sort of construction, it would have been very, very difficult to restart that. So I think we lucked out on that part. So in 21, I said all that to say in 21, it felt like, well, let's get back started. And that may or may not have been the best decision because the impacts of COVID lasted for a little bit for a while. But I did get the store open with Cassie in May of 2021, and so we just had our 5 year anniversary, and it's been great. I think over there we're trying, as you mentioned before, we're trying to change buying habits.
Yeah.
People were more used to looking online or going to the big box. We want you to come, see, feel, touch. It's a gorgeous showroom,
Mhm.
and it. Cassie and Kim were really the brains behind how it looks, and it's very much a boutique. And if you haven't been, I would encourage you just to go and look. It looks like something that you would see in Charlotte or Raleigh or down in Wilmington. And it's right here in New Bern, and it's just a lot of fun to go in there.
Yeah, so tell us where it is located also.
Yeah, it's on McCarthy Boulevard, 588 McCarthy Boulevard. It's right next to, as you're going in the curve past Goodwill and sort of behind the Target.
Mhm.
So we're on that McCarthy as you're going towards the post office behind Target. We'll be on your right there, and the lights look gorgeous when you look over. You'll see them all shining in there. It's quite impressive.
So, let's say somebody goes into the showroom. They're looking around. What can they expect when they go in there? I mean, you can see it from the road, but when they go in, what can they expect?
Yeah, you're gonna first maybe even be a little overwhelmed with how many actual hanging fixtures we have in there. It's really impressive what's in there and how far we've come, and what I remember hanging the first fixture
Mhm.
in that building, and now there's, I mean, it's just beautiful. But you're gonna get a very curated look at a lot of at a pretty big cross section of an industry that is vast. So
Mhm.
there's no way we could ever show you everything that you could think up or do, but we tried to pick things that are the most interesting and maybe something you wouldn't do,
Mhm.
but you want to look at. Like maybe you don't quite have the layout or whatever to look at it, but we want to show you some pretty impressive fixtures, and so we've got a pretty big selection of stuff over there. So
Yeah. So, I know you have a lot of high-end fixtures. They're stunning. But Cassie shared this with me not too long ago. But let's say somebody goes in there and they got a really strict budget and they just can't go extreme. Do you have options
Yes.
for those or can you order so on and so forth? So please share with
Yeah,
me.
so we don't share. We don't over there for the most part. We don't sell that. We order. We pretty much custom order everything. The stuff that's hanging in the showroom. Although occasionally we do have discontinued items or things that we're just trying to blow out or sell, which I have over there now. So
Yeah.
if you think you want especially a budget friendly piece, I've got things in there that need to go.
Mm-hmm.
We have. I'm so glad you brought this up because the misconception is that we're just too expensive or they wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
something for what I'm trying to do. Wrong. No, we're there. We'll meet you where you're at. Let's just talk it out and see what it is that you're looking for. We have we've been very blessed the last 5 years to not only develop our custom business, but to also develop our builder business and our entry level fixture business. We've been very fortunate to work with a number of builders. Everything from guys who are doing like like a track home type setup, right up to your full custom. So we really have something for everybody. We just need to talk it out and see what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, don't sleep on Solas. We've got the budget stuff and we've got the wow factor too. We've
Mm-hmm.
got some really impressive fixtures over there as well. So
Yeah, and from what she told me too, if you were even just looking on Pinterest or something and you found something you love, bring it in. She's like, show your
yes,
phone and they'll find it. They'll probably have it or can order it pretty simply.
yeah, we've got we represent a really great cross section of suppliers in the lighting world. Things like Capital, Hinkley, Veriluz, Quazell. We've got a really substantial offering. So yes, and the lighting industry is not so unique where certain vendors aren't making fixtures. If it's if it's a bestseller for for one company, another one's going to make it. So yeah, bring us your ideas and let us look at it. We also have a very impressive website for Solas, and it's just solaslightinganddesign.com. But our website is set up like an online catalog,
Okay.
so it's very similar to like uh, maybe here's some buzz like a Wayfair or a build.com where you can go to our website over there for lighting and look based on your filters and your criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great way to be at home at night if you're just kind of shopping, and you can create a wish list from the couch at the house, and it'll email to us. We'll get it priced out for you and send it back to you, or have you come in the store and then look at what you're doing. The ladies over there are very very good at tear sheets. So if you come in and you see something you like, we can't send you home with the fixture. Like at Carpet One, we can send you home with a sample.
Mm-hmm.
At Solas, we'll send you home with a very detailed tear sheet that'll give you all the specs, all the dimensions, and a high def color photo to have as a reference. So,
Right.
and then of course we can email you,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you need there too. A couple of things that people can do to help the process, though, like you were mentioning earlier. Know what your ceiling height is when if you can provide us some information. Measure your table.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a dining room, want a new fixture over a dining room table.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought one for our house.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a fixture in there for years that we built the house in 2020, and the light fixture there was fine for a while. And then Dana, my wife, is like, I think we want something different. And so it was kind of cool because Kim sort of put me through what she would do with a customer. Is like, well, measure the dining room table. I need to know how big that is. How big's the room? Those are people don't think about those as being pertinent information for lighting, but we want to help advise you based on what we know about your house. So measure your dining room table, measure your kitchen table, measure your bar. If you want pendants, a lot of times people won't. They'll think, well, we just need 2 pendants, but your bar is really big enough for 3 or 4, and then you're getting, not only is it more stylish, but you're getting more light.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't have thought about that. But if you think about a table, you don't want like a little tiny lighting fixture or a massive one that's bigger than your actual I know me
Probably
too.
one of the biggest, maybe hiccups in picking lighting is people oftentimes don't realize just how big that fixture can be, and it
Mm,
will look great.
yeah.
They're like, oh no, I'm that's going to be too big. It's not,
Yeah.
and we like to help with that.
That is awesome. Well, what we talked about flooring trends. What are some of the lighting trends that you're seeing more now?
Lighting trends. I'm not in there all the time, but I would say moving away from the colder builder type
Hmm.
um, things into things that are more vibey and more warm, with a little bit more of an art feel to them. So something that's more decorative. So maybe one of the cool things you can do is if you're looking around and your lighting's looking a little dated, you're probably gonna opt for something that's a little more warm, a little more artsy, and maybe getting away from some of the cold, rigid things. Black's not out by any means, but it might be maybe some of the polished stuff is a little bit
Hmm.
more trendy.
Hmm.
I still love black, so I mean that's not a deal breaker. But like silver, not so much. And a lot of times, looking at what your other fixtures are and what your hardware looks like
Hmm.
can help you sometimes with the lights. But the good news is you don't have to work with me about it when you get over there. I've got great designers and folks that are super into it to help you. So
That is awesome. Well, is there anything else you would like to add that we did not hit on?
I don't know. Thanks for the time. It flies by when you're talking about stuff that you're doing. Now, there was a no. I mean, if you have anything to close out on, I'm good with that. But come visit us. I mean, Carpet One and Solus are both. We have great staff. We have good teams. We don't always get it right, but we'll make it right.
Mhm.
There when you're in this end of construction, renovations and things like that. There's going to be things that come up and go wrong. One of the things that we really try to do is communicate with our customers on both sides. Where's your material? This is what we found when we pulled up your old carpet.
Mhm.
Um, you know, those are uh, those are things that we really try to do good. So I mean, please visit both the stores. We're New Bern people. We everybody that works for me lives and works here in New Bern, and I think that's you're not just supporting me and the efforts that I have laid and put to work here in New Bern. You're supporting everybody that we employ, and there's like 16 families that are between both stores that are that count on New Bern shopping local. So we appreciate it, and we really enjoyed our time here. So.
That is awesome. So, what are the hours for both stores if anybody wants to drop by and see what you guys have to offer?
Absolutely. 8 to 6 at Carpet One. We close at 5 on Fridays.
Okay.
We're currently not open on Saturday. At some point in time, we may come back around that. That's a conversation for another time. But Hurricane Florence made some things
Mhm.
difficult for being open on Saturdays. At Solas, we're open 9 to 5:30 and 9 to 5 on Fridays. So pretty normal banking type hours.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you so much coming
Thank
and
you.
just telling us about both companies. And if you guys are into renovating your house, go visit these guys, Carpet One and Solus. And then, of course, like we said before, Carpet One, maybe that's another question too, real quick. They offer financing. Does Solus
Yeah.
have any kind of financing options as well?
We
Or,
we currently don't
okay.
advertise a financing option over there, but Synchrony works across both of those. So we'll probably later this year, maybe first of next year, we'll come up with some ideas for that because it wouldn't be hard to
Yeah.
to to do that. So
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it so much. And everybody, thank you for joining us today. Again, any renovations, reach out to them. And if you need anything in real estate, reach out to me. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so
wonderful. Thank
much.
you.
You have a good
Appreciate it.
day. Yes, sir.
Sunset falling on the news so slow, where the train went home and the stories flow. From Tryon Palace to the streets we roam. Yeah, this place ain't just a town, it's home.